Where were you for the Alex Verdugo homer? Were you watching Russell Wilson talk about how 6-2 isn't the end goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Maybe. Dodgers take game three of the World Series. They are up 3-0 in the Fall Classic. 4-2 was the final score because Alex Verdugo pimped the living shit out of a home run
Had
in
a
the ninth
baby.
inning.
Watch that thing fly, Verdugo. Had a boy.
We'll get into that. Jack Aram, Just Baseball Show for Tuesday, October 29th. As always, it is presented by BetMGM and BetMGM Sportsbook account holders who opt into the bullpen jackpot promotion in the World Series and place a straight bet of at least $10 on their choice of any MLB player to hit a home run will win a share of a daily $50,000 BetMGM bullpen jackpot if that player they wagered on hit a home run that lands in an MLB bullpen. Pricing will be paid out in bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Offers available every day throughout the postseason. Customers will need to place a $10 or more wager on any MLB player to hit a home run. If the player hits a home run that lands in a team bullpen on that day, they win a share of the $50,000 daily prize. Make sure to use code JUSTBASEBALL, all caps, one word, for that first bet offer up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your wager loses to get started. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. Aram, this was a clunker, and I don't think anybody was really box score watching and say, "Oh, this was tight. They only lost by two." It felt like the game was 10-0 for a long time, if we're being honest.
I mean, with the Yankees offense, it really felt like you had a window of two hitters, three hitters where you had a chance to score. Um, like I mean, Glaber's put together a good at bats all postseason, and even if it was 0 for 3 today, he got hosed on a K, walked twice. So
Yeah.
I mean, that was solid. But I mean, outside of Torres, Soto, I mean, at this point, you're always feeling like there's a chance with Judge, but it's still weird with him at this point. And then
And
Stanton, like
Stanton. Yeah.
once you get past there, it just felt like you're hoping to hit like a 5 leg parlay to score a run. Where with the Dodgers, I feel like it's the complete opposite, and that's what we talked about going into this series, right? Where it's just like so many different players can impact the game, and I honestly thought like we're gonna get into to the specifics and Walker, and I can't wait to talk about him, and that he deserves his own segment, and
Yeah.
we'll get to that. But just off the top, immediate reaction was like the Dodgers didn't even swing it well this game, right? Like they had 5 hits. Two of the runs that they scored came on that big swing by Freddie Freeman right in that first inning. It was a mistake pitch. Freddie made him pay. But aside from an insurance run in the third and in the sixth, I mean, it wasn't a great offensive game for the Dodgers standards, right? Like nobody had a multi-hit game besides Kike Hernandez, who had a pair of singles, but it was all they needed, right? They do all the little things. They're able to execute, come up with a big swing, and you put up zeros on the board, and you're going to be in a good spot. And it really should have been a shutout. I mean, I think Kopech probably wants that one pitch back, but before I forget, I just want to preface because I know like I want to talk about the things that the Dodgers did well, and we'll talk about the things that the Yankees continue to struggle with. But Alex Verdugo pimping that home run,
Hmm.
like we all are, we're all on the same page when it comes to this stuff. I don't give a crap what you do, man. Like celebrate it, have fun with it. Like we always talk about that. Like the game needs that. This is not an old head get off my lawn bat flip thing. This is just like have you no shame. Not only the fact that the Yankees at that point still down to your last out, still need to score 2 more runs. I mean, you're looking at staring 3-0 in the face. Alex Verdugo up to that point, if I have this correct, yep. So up to that point
Yes.
was 4 for his last 34 in the postseason, and you go deep there, great, and you gave him a shot, right? Soto's on deck. They could have found a way to get on base there and tying run, could get up to the plate. Like, sure, that's exciting. But for him to stand in the box there and watch that thing fly, and it wasn't like it went 480 either. It was like 3 rows deep. For him to watch that thing fly and then flip the bat, like it's tearing to the dugout, it's just shameless. Shameless. Verdugo is definitely not one of my favorites,
Yeah.
just in terms of the players to watch, way he goes about his business and everything. So
Right.
it's easy for me to pile on. But I just couldn't help but laugh at that one. I mean, it just, I don't know what else to say.
So
Like, it just kind of ties a bow on this whole thing. Like, it was just brutal, absolutely
here's
brutal.
yeah, here's my old head response to that. And like I do think that it's changed over the last 2, 3 years, to be honest with you, because I see so many meaningless homers pimped in AAA baseball.
I'm okay with a meaningless homer being pimped. I think
I
there's a
see.
different aspect of it when you're getting dog walked the whole series and you're still about to go down 3-zip and pretty much effectively lose the
So
World
so
Series,
let me
barring
rephrase.
it.
Let me rephrase. Meaningless homer when a team is down. I see those get pimped. On a random Tuesday in July, you're okay with that? Because I'm not. I don't love that
I'm
at all.
more
It's like,
okay with
oh,
it in
you're down a
AAA,
game.
or I'm more okay with it in the minor leagues because at the end of the day, you're kind of just battling for yourself
You're
at
playing for
that point.
yourself. You're right.
And like, yeah, a lot of these guys just like they have their own feelings towards certain teams, certain players, things like that. And I get that. And that might be some of it here. But the thing is, when you're playing in the major leagues and you're playing in the World Series, everything else supersedes that. So like Michael Kopech could have, been his enemy number one.
Yeah.
It still wouldn't matter
No.
because you're about to lose the World Series.
The
So I do hear
situational.
you. Like, I do see that all the time, and there's been plenty of times where I see a pimped home run when they're down 7, and I'm like, geez, okay, what is that? But there's something about when the stakes are so high and there's so
Yeah.
much beyond the
Right.
individuals that are competing there, right? Like a
Yep.
Kopech versus Verdugo, where it's just like, dude, there's no way that you can do anything other than hit that, put your head down, and jog around the bases. I think just optically,
Yeah.
considering the fact that you've been getting destroyed the whole series, and you as an individual have been putrid, not only all year but
Right.
through the postseason as well. I mean,
Right.
a 399 OPS over his last 9 games in the postseason, entering that game.
The
I,
situational awareness is at zero in that scenario, and it feels a lot like I know we see this all the time too. Like a football team is down 25 and they foot loose after a touchdown. It's like, come on, let's have a little bit
I
better.
think I think football, like, yes, I know what you're talking about. And I always look for that, in like NFL games. And a lot of the time, like these guys now, like, especially in the Super Bowl, you're not seeing a guy, I think, get into a full breakdown dance to like cut the deficit to
Right,
21.
which is why it was so jarring how situationally
They
unaware Alex
they
Verdugo
score and they're
was.
going to flip the ball right to the ref
Yeah,
and jog back in. And if they
yeah,
don't, like, you're clowning that guy.
right,
And I think in baseball it's even worse though when you're struggling because it's so specific, right? If a wide receiver is having a slow game, you can't be like, oh, like he's playing bad too. It looks even worse because it could be an offensive thing. It could
right,
be like, it could be a whole
right.
different aspect of QB could be struggling, whatever it may be. But like Verdugo by himself has been terrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one got me. But it is similar to that, right? Where you score the touchdown, you go full celly, and you're still down 3 touchdowns. But man, that that one got me going. And I don't care from like a. But if I was a Yankees fan, I'd be pretty annoyed with that for
No
sure.
doubt. No
Like,
doubt.
for sure. Like,
We're
I have no horse in this race. I'm more angry about the fact that this series is turning into a dud in terms of like we were hoping it would go 6 or 7. You never know. Let's hope the Yankees can get some back and make this interesting. But I'm just more frustrated the fact that the Yankees aren't putting up a very good fight here through three.
you're just pissed that you might be going to one game and not two. So
Yeah, I'm
you have
supposed to go
tickets
to
for
game.
two.
Like we talked about, man. Like, should
Yeah.
I be worried that
Yeah. No,
I'm
you
not going to
should
be able
be.
to go to game 5 because I'm able to go to I'm supposed to go to game 4 and game 5.
You
And
should be. Yeah.
if I can't go to game 5 because the Yankees couldn't get one, like that stinks.
No, you should be terrified. And you did mention on yesterday's show that it does feel like game four is the gentleman's sweep, that like that's the game that you concede, especially bullpen day, and they did use Kopech and they used Vesia and they used Gratterall. We're gonna get into everything as it pertains to game four, but let's give you a game three recap. It was 4-2 Dodgers. Save your Bueller thoughts because we do have our own segment on Walker Bueller. 4-2 Dodgers scoring got going right away. Clark Schmidt walked Shohei Ohtani on 4 pitches to open the game, none of which were particularly close. After Mookie Betts flat out to left, Freddie Freeman hit his third homer of the series, a 2-run shot to right. He became just the third player ever to homer in each of the first 3 games of the Fall Classic. He joined Hank Bauer in 1958 and Barry Bonds in 2002. Thank you, Sarah Langs. In the third, fouled off three straight pitches against Schmidt. Mookie Betts lofted the ninth pitch of the plate appearance down the right field line to play Tommy Edman on an RBI single to make it 3-0. That was it for Schmidt. Clark Schmidt, 2 2/3, allowed 3 runs on 2 hits and 4 walks in 68 pitches. Opposite him, Buehler, man, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He racked up 9 whiffs. Threat against Buehler came in the fourth. Giancarlo Stanton doubled, and with 2 outs, Anthony Volpe looped a single to left. Giancarlo got the wave around, and Teoscar Hernandez fired a dart home at 93.9 miles an hour, which was the hardest throw from the outfield this season from Teoscar. The fourth Dodger run came in the sixth. Kike singled home Gavin Lux on a ground ball up the gut. By the way, Aaron Judge's throw home on that to try and get Lux, 98.2 miles
Yeah,
an
that
hour.
was a dot.
It was a dot, but it was just a tad late. And then Verdugo homered, and that's your game recap.
And that was an iconic home run. Like you get
Yes,
the open side video. I hope MLB posts that, watching him just stare at it
right.
and lean back with that thing, one
Yeah,
row deep.
lean with it,
Yeah.
Alex. Come on, man.
Attaboy.
I will say before we get into kind of like the moment by moment breakdown of this game, they lost before the first pitch even came in, man. Like
Well,
that
yeah,
Fat Joe performance,
I thought you were gonna say lean back. Yeah.
no. But like that Fat Joe performance was so we were at the Futures game in Seattle in 2023. And between the Futures game and the Celebrity Softball game, they had a live performance from 24K Golden.
Yeah, former USC frat bro,
Really?
24K Golden. Yeah.
And I turned to you, and I think I turned to Will Cohen as well, and said, I think this is the worst live performance I've ever seen.
Uh,
And
Fat
then
Joe
Fat
said,
Joe
"Hold my
might have
beer."
bettered that.
It was bad. I don't think he had like an earpiece, right? Like it just seemed like he was just trying to like ad lib on top of it. It was really rough. Really rough. And I honestly like all around tough performances. And then you look at Mark Carlson behind home plate.
Yeah,
Like I don't it didn't it was both ways,
both ways.
but I think the at bat that really glares is that Glaber check swing that what would have been what ball three.
That with he was seeing Bonda.
Yeah, I think it was a check swing on an elevated fastball that was clearly a ball,
Yeah,
and it would have been ball three. And I mean, at that point, you hope he works a full count, or he works a full count there. Then if it was
yeah,
called a ball instead of a strike, I mean, it wasn't even close. Too, like it was well up there. I know that check swings can kind of mess with umpires' vision, but
right.
I mean, it's the World Series. You hope that full count there. Now runners are on the move. Base hit could score one, or a gapper could score two, or that pitch misses 3-2, and now you got the bases loaded for Juan Soto. Totally changed things there. Again, it went both ways though. I think Tommy Edman got hosed on a call a little bit earlier. There was a couple really tough ones to some Dodgers hitters as well. I don't even want to be talking about umpires on that stage though. So
Right.
I did. If we're gonna criticize bad performances, I did want to give Mark Carlson a shout too,
Yeah, no,
because that was
that's when
not great.
you need perfect Pat back there, and I know Pat Hoberg is in his own little hot water that was somehow like
Oh yeah,
totally a non-story this year, even though I thought it was a massive story. Um,
yeah,
having
I
said
forgot
that,
about that.
yeah, like crazy, but yeah, Mark Carlson was not great. There were a couple of called balls that were clear strikes, and they were just poorly executed pitches. Like Trevino was set up on the inside corner. It's clearly a strike on the outer half, but Trevino had to reach across his body, and that in turn is a called ball. And I get it; that's tough for an umpire, but at the end of the day, like you'd prefer guys just have a better feel for the zone than what Mark Carlson had on Monday night. I want to start with Clark Schmidt because that first AB with Ohtani, it wasn't an AB, it was a plate appearance because it was a four-pitch walk. And again, none of the
Yeah,
four were particularly close. Clark Schmidt, I thought, was the perfect guy to get the ball down 2-0 because his existence, I didn't think could deviate. And he looked timid,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. He kind of looked like he was afraid to go after guys. I don't blame you. Like, and I think that I don't blame him. Right, you got
Yeah,
to stare Otani in the face right away. But I mean, we're talking about an Otani that we don't even know how well he can swing the bat. Clearly, he doesn't feel great, and you didn't even give him a chance to swing the bat there.
right.
And then I think that Freddie home run
Yeah.
really jarred him because it wasn't even a bad pitch.
No.
Right? It was a fastball, borderline strike. I think, you throw 10 of them up there with no swings. I think an umpire calls 6 or 5 out of 10 of those a strike at best. It depends on the hitter and how tall they are. Like it was that borderline. Freddie's a freaking animal. So like, and I think that really set the tone, right? It was like, here we go again. And I think from that point on, obviously he walked the first batter on 4 pitches, so you mentioned the nerves, but he did come back, get Mookie, and then I really felt like that Freddie home run not only jarred Clark, I felt like it kind of jarred the whole stadium. It
Yep.
was like, oh wow, we're staring a deficit in the face, and we're already staring 2-0 in the series in the face, and it felt like all of a sudden everything, like the pressure really started to mount, both on the hitters and on Clark Schmidt on the mound. And it just felt like from that point forward, the nibbling just continued to happen there. But I mean, Freddie, all things considered, what he is doing is just remarkable. Like a runaway MVP of this World Series, assuming nothing outrageous changes. But it just, I don't know if we have the win probability swings, but like it just feels like all of his swings, of course, the walk-off grand slam, but like even the early home runs just feel like they pack a little bit extra of a punch here, like emotionally and momentum wise. It's been wild.
So I have the MGM odds pulled up here. He's obviously the leader. What do you think the odds are?
He's got to be minus. I think it would be. I thought there would be odds potentially pulled at this point. Minus 550 minimum. I think he should be minus 800 though.
Minus 1,600 on
Okay, yeah,
MGM right
great.
now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I would never recommend putting that much money on something. Sounds like a free $100 if I had
Yeah, well,
sixteen
if
hundred,
you put what 16,000 down, that's a free
sixteen hundred
$100.
in bonus bets. That Jesus.
Is that
I
how
mean,
that works? Yeah.
I would have put it on that, I think. But no, I mean, it's been amazing in the story, and we've talked about that. But I know the initial conversation was Clark Schmidt. He walked 4 guys in 2 2/3.
Yeah.
You said timid. That's got to be the word, right? Like he just
Yeah.
was nibbling.
The final blow against Schmidt was that 9 pitch AB with Mookie Betts, and it ends in an inside out single, an RBI single. Great piece of base running from Tommy Edman. Like seeing that
That
ball
or
was going to get
that or
doubled.
he was running no matter what. I
So
can't
yeah,
tell
but
what.
I think he read that because I like to give Tommy Edman a lot of credit for being such a cerebral baseball player, and like I'm forever a Tommy Edman super fan after this postseason. This guy is like he's playing winning baseball for the LA Dodgers, and
Oh yeah.
he played gritty winning baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals, and the fact that he took that to the City of Stars is amazing to me. And like I'm a huge fan of watching Tommy Edman play baseball. I'm a huge fan of watching Mookie Betts play baseball, and that was such a good sound AB from Mookie Betts. That right there is what makes Mookie tracking to be an all-time great. Like that AB is what makes him one of the best players in baseball because
I
he
agree.
has that malleability and he can do that. Yeah, he can hit 30 homers in a given season. Yeah, he can play Gold Glove defense and right. The fact that he has everything in the toolbox, that included, is what could make him an all-time great.
Yeah, 100%. And in all the different ways he can impact the game. We talk about the defense too, but I'm freeze framing this swing. Like Clark Schmidt beat him.
Yeah,
Like he beat him.
flat out.
But Mookie Betts is so good that he has like the Joker card in his back pocket essentially, which is he can maneuver that barrel, like you said, like the swing malleability, and get to it and give himself a chance. Right. Most of the time, that's going to hang up in the air long enough, it's going to get caught. But most hitters aren't even getting to that pitch. So to flare that out, and I'm looking at the video now from a different angle, and you're 100% right. Edmund saw it off the bat slicing, Soto playing, far enough where that was going down. But I was shocked watching in real time the fact that Edmund was already jogging to home by the time Soto picked that thing up. I mean, that's the difference though too that we've talked about. The Dodgers play just such fundamentally sound baseball on the base paths, like defensively, all of these different things that they've done so well. And the Yankees, they didn't play bad defense today overall, but like in the early games, the first two ball games, you could point out a couple of situations where, they gave the Dodgers a little bit of an extra push in the back. And that's the last thing you need to do, right? Dodgers don't need help. And some defensive miscues and things like that, it definitely impacted them. So that seems to be a big separator in this series too. And that swing right there, like 2-0, and we said, like, it felt like that the pressure was really mounting. But okay, you put up another zero in the third. You feel like you got time there. Adding to the lead there, that definitely felt like it just added another just big weight on top of the Yankees' shoulders, and it just felt like it was going to keep slipping away from there.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And after that, I mean, it did feel like the game was kind of signed, sealed, delivered at that moment. Was there? I guess we do have to talk about what bottom of the fourth inning that Giancarlo send. Um, it
I
was
didn't
the
hate
right
it.
decision to send him. I know that there were a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people that I like love their insights on the game. They say that's an all-time bad send. I disagree. I know you disagree. Two outs, your lineup is doing nothing. You have to try. And if that is not a dot from Teoscar Hernandez at 94 miles an hour out of his hand, Giancarlo is safe. Does it look worse than anybody in Major League Baseball running from second to home? I
Yeah.
would take David Ortiz in a full suit off the pregame and postgame set, running quicker second to home over Giancarlo Stanton.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, obviously, it has been, a long stretch of durability issues for Giancarlo Stanton that has limited his ability to run the bases.
Yeah, what do
Um,
you think Bob Costas thought of that?
he just felt so bad. He was like, "Oh, you poor baby." Like, um, I mean, I don't think it was a terrible decision sending
No,
him.
it was pretty close. The slide made it look way worse.
Yeah,
If that throw was up the line, well, first of all, Giancarlo Stanton's a massive human being where that throw could have just easily hit him in the back too. Like it was close enough. But if it was up the line or down the other way a little bit, doesn't if Smith doesn't pick it cleanly, there was enough variables there where like you got to send him. We talked about it going into this series, and the biggest concern was just how top heavy this Yankees lineup is. And right, like, do you have any confidence right now in Rizzo, Trevino, and Verdugo? And I understand that they both came up with hits late, Rizzo and Verdugo with that no doubter blast.
right.
But like, I don't trust those guys right now. If you're
No,
telling me I got a 35% chance to score, I'm waving them home. And I honestly thought it was a little bit better than that. And they just needed to get one on the board there. Like they really needed to get one on the board. I think that would have changed things a little bit. So I really don't, I didn't hate this end at all. And, also you don't really know how quick Giancarlo can move in a certain spot. Maybe he's hoping there was another gear in there. Unfortunately, there wasn't, but it took a good throw and it was a perfect throw. But a lot of times those throws aren't perfect. It could have skipped. It could have went a little to the left, a little to the right. It was right on the freaking money.
you're betting
And
on
it is what it is. But
you're you're betting on a small mistake, and lost in this, I think, is Will Smith's tag. Like that was a beautiful tag. He let the ball get deep, and then he just swiped the shit out of it on Giancarlo.
he should have just sprinted through home,
Yeah,
Stanton.
I think so.
I realistically, that's what he should have done. He still probably would have been out, but like, yeah, I really didn't hate the send. And if the slide again makes it look worse, if you watch the replay, he was within a few, like, what do you think, 8 feet of home by the time that throw got in there. I thought he was
Probably.
pretty close there.
Yeah, I would think so. And yeah, he just started the slide so early. Like it just looks
That
so
slide was
bad coming
heinous.
in. Yeah,
It was not good.
I mean, that's just nature of the beast. Let's talk about Mr. Walker Buehler. I've
Hmm.
got a whole bunch of nuggets that I'm just going to spew at you. Before we do that, take a freaking bow, man. Wow. Walker Buehler, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Per Opta stats, Walker Buehler of the Dodgers has started 3 World Series games. He has pitched at least 5 innings while allowing fewer than 5 base runners, hits, walks, hit by pitch in all three. Nobody else has had 3 such starts over their entire World Series career, consecutive or not. Per Nugget Chef on Twitter, Walker Buehler joins Madison Bumgarner, John Lester, and Andy Pettit as the only pitchers in the wild card era to have multiple scoreless starts of 5 or more innings in the World Series in their career. Per Sarah Langs, Walker Buehler, with the 13th scoreless World Series start in Dodgers history, he joined Sandy Koufax as the only Dodgers with multiple scoreless World Series starts. Buehler has 3 World Series starts under his belt: 18 innings, 7 hits, one run, three walks, 22 strikeouts, a 0.56 whip, and opponents are hitting 123 against him. Seven scoreless with seven Ks and no walks in 2018 against the Red Sox. 6 innings of one-run ball with one walk and 10 Ks against Tampa in 2020, and five scoreless with 5 Ks against the New York Yankees. He's built for this moment.
And he looked like the Walker Buehler that threw in those other World Series games, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not as many 98s and 99s, but that fastball was jumping. And you got 13 swings against his fastball, six whiffs. Like he found that heater again, and that was amazing. And you rattle off all those stats, and all I could think of, man, is this is a Dodgers team that they won it in 20, and he was a big part of that. But I feel like this is a Dodgers team that the conversation is always, they kind of seem to come up a little short in the postseason. And now it seems like the two times that they come up big, Bueller's a huge reason why. And I just feel like this guy is synonymous with LA success. And this year has been so tumultuous for him. And he has handled it with, and obviously we're biased here, but
Right.
the way he has handled it objectively has been fantastic. They were asking him about free agency at points, and he said free agency talk isn't for someone with a 6 ERA when he was struggling, right? He never made an excuse. He was always, very open with the media, having conversations, just wearing it when he struggled, just continuing to be a pro. And just saying, my focus, what did he always say on this show to media, to writers, well, post game press conference, whatever it is? My focus is to be available for the postseason to help us win a World Series. And I'll be honest, I bet you there was a bunch of people and Dodgers fans, whatever it may be. And I saw
Yeah.
them on Twitter, and I don't blame them. I understand it when you see a guy that doesn't look like himself, and you saw how good he was before. That were saying, "Oh, that's nice to hear, but I don't know if this guy can really help us in the postseason."
Yeah.
But you got to remember that the human being in there, like the Walker Buehler that's in that body, whether it's got two surgically repaired out, like 2 times surgically repaired elbow or not, is just a different cat. And just seeing that come out here as a slightly different pitcher, right? Like he's attacking in a different way, but
Yeah.
he's still that guy. And just seeing him do it the way that he had always wanted to, like the way that he had timed it up so that he can help push this team across the finish line. And guess what? The way things worked out or didn't with so many guys getting hurt, they needed Walker Buehler to push them across the finish line. And that's exactly what he has done. I mean, they still got to win one more, but God forbid it gets to 7. Guess who's going to push him across the
Right.
finish line? So, I mean, I just wanted to remind people about the journey from this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he looked like a shell of himself at points early in this year, and it takes time, but he looks like Walker Buehler again. And, that didn't come easy.
Do you remember what he echoed like often in 2023 when he really first started jumping on with us and he was, even pre-ramp up. He said, "I don't want to be on a postseason roster because of what I've done." And he kept returning to that. "I don't want to be there because of what I've done. I don't want to like have my past credentials put me on a postseason roster. I want to be on a postseason roster because of what I can do to help a team win a World Series." And that is the Walker Buehler that we've seen the last two starts. And hell, that's the one that we saw against San Diego. That 6-run second, don't forget, this guy bounced back with multiple scoreless innings after
I
that
was about to
because he
say
knew
that
the
was the
bullpen needed a
beginning.
breather.
That
Yes.
was the beginning of this stretch here
Yes.
where he's just been different.
I mean, this guy is built, he's built different. Like, I know that's the common lingo,
Cornball.
but he is built different.
Nah, he
And
is.
I was just sitting here watching this guy throw in a Dodger uniform. And I was just thinking, they'd be so stupid not to have him pitch again in a Dodger uniform.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And like we got no idea, obviously. Like we don't know.
Right.
I don't think
No, we have
anyone
no
has any
intel
idea.
on that front. I'm just saying the Dodgers better pony up and pay this guy because he's proven to be one of the winners and he's put his body on the line for the last 7, 8, 9 years of his baseball life for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And and I think this has to be one of those moments where like the front office and everyone has to be looking at this and saying, I mean, this is a culture setter for it. Like that's what Bueller is, man. And I mean, just to see what he's done on the mound, and unfortunately, like not a lot of continuity on the mound with the Dodgers, and that's because of injuries, but that's also their willingness to acquire and try different arms and do different things. And I mean, Bueller's that continuity when he's healthy, and just for him to finish the year out this way, like it's just such an awesome story. But it took time, I think, for him to really adjust and say, okay, I can't dominate the same way that I used to, but it doesn't mean I can't dominate, right? It just is going to look a little different.
Yeah,
And seeing this version of domination from him is so cool because this is sustainable too, man. It's just different.
exactly.
And that's been fun to see this kind of, I wouldn't say reinvented, but I would say adjusted Walker
Well,
Buehler.
and that
Yeah.
that is the maturation of a top flight pitcher as they get older. Usually it happens to guys when they hit the other side of 30 and it's like, okay, I'm on the wrong side of 30, time to not reinvent, but time to tinker with my arsenal and
I
tinker with
always
my
talk
pitching
about the
identity.
CC, the cutter, adding the
Yeah,
cutter and what that did for him. Yeah.
right. But it's like that is simply part of pitching maturation. And it's going to happen when you're 32, or it's going to happen after your second Tommy John surgery. And for Walker, it just happened after his second Tommy John surgery. So,
Yep.
it was an external factor, I guess literally an internal factor for Walker Buehler that forced him to do this, but it was his elbow that forced him to adjust. For a lot of people, it's father time. And kind of cool that we're going to see this adjusted version of Walker Buehler feeling 100% going into 2025, and the fact that he strung together these two huge starts in the NLCS and the World Series is absolutely fantastic, and I could not be happier for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it goes seven so he gets one more. But I
You
also
hope it
just wanted
goes
to go
seven so
seven.
you watch two games.
I just want to see more baseball, man.
Yeah, I
I'm
get it.
gassing up this historic World Series,
Well,
and this is what we're getting.
regardless, you're going to get more baseball because Albert Pujols is managing Leones in Lidom, and Yadier Molina is now managing Aguilas in Lidom. You see
I
that?
saw that. I saw that.
They
That is,
started 2-7, so they fired their skipper and they hired Yadi, and I think Carlos Gomez is on the coaching staff.
unless Yachty's catching himself, what the hell do you think a manager is going to do in the winter league? Like, oh, we gotta get this guy out of here. We got to change things up for
Well, you
these
know who
this
was managing?
mishmash of players from all over the map.
I
I,
think I think Fernando Tatis Sr. was managing Estrellas, and he brought in Fernando Tatis Jr. for 5 games. So that's what it could do for a team. It's like, hey, I have a
I,
good son. Like we should
it's
bring
like
him in.
college. It's recruiting.
Right.
Like they need Pujols. Can Pujols? Can you? If you're a manager, can you hit? Like Pujols should just come off the bench against lefties.
I would love that. Although he
He'd
did
still hit them.
firmly empty the tank in 2022, so he might be truly out of gas.
Um, anything else on the pitching front? Like we're gonna preview the next ball game, and I think that'll kind of be the discussion around how the bullpen's used and everything. I thought the Yankees bullpen was great. Nestor Cortez as well. Like I do want to just give him his flowers. Like
For sure.
he threw two pitches and he got burned on one pitch
Yeah.
that got crushed, and like it could have happened to anybody. We talked about how maybe you bring in Hill there. Hindsight's 2020. Nestor Cortez came in here and gave the Yankees an inning of 2/3 scoreless, and perfect actually. And I mean, I just another guy that just admire what he's doing, given that he was out for a long time, and
Yep.
then also just goes. I thought it's just so badass. Just be like, look, if I get a ring and I don't pitch next year, so be it.
Right.
I hope they don't throw him again now because if he doesn't get a ring and he doesn't pitch next year, then like not so be it. That would make me
Hmm.
very sad. So I don't know. I hope he's feeling good. He looks good.
Yeah.
But I mean, this Yankees bullpen, I mean, they put up zeros. Everyone put up zeros except for Cousins, who went one inning, gave up one earned run. But like other than that, I mean, the bullpen was fantastic. It just was too late,
Do you think
and
Tommy Canley
also they just
listened?
couldn't score.
Yeah. Do you think Tommy Canley listened to the podcast? He threw a fastball.
Yeah, you hear John Smoltz say like, "Oh, he's going to throw a fastball here." Bold prediction. Yeah, probably. Eventually. Yeah, he threw one. Was it just one?
It was one, and it was 96 about what shoelace high. It was just a non-competitive
Just a
fastball.
show me terrible
Show
fastball.
me terrible fastball, and then right back to all reliable.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
Uh, pride of Lynn University here in Boca Raton, Division Two. Tommy
Lynn
Canley.
University. He's from somewhere in New York. I saw the name
Yeah,
of it, and I was like, I
yeah.
don't
The,
know
the
who that
old
is.
New York to Lynn University pipeline.
Waltham. I feel like a lot of New Yorkers go to South Florida because every South Florida person ever has gone to New York at some point in their life, you
Yeah,
included.
yeah.
Um, let's preview game 4. And I just want to rattle off the names that the Dodgers used on the back of Buehler. Gratterall for 18 pitches, Vesia for 4 pitches, Daniel Hudson for 22, Anthony Bonda for 10, Ryan Brazier for 22, Kopech for 24. Note, Blake Trinan now has 2 days rest between his game two outing and going into game four. We'll see how they attack this bullpen day, but the great part is Vesia has thrown a grand total of 5 pitches across 2 outings in the World Series. Gratterall, I have no idea how he's responding, but I would assume he kept it under 20 pitches today. He's available tomorrow. And Bonda only throwing 10 pitches today. It seems like they're pretty damn close to full strength for this
Yeah,
bullpen game.
Gratterall was the only guy that I didn't think looked good, and I honestly I almost hope they don't throw him.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed like he couldn't time up his release. He also looked like he was kind of, I don't want to speculate on that stuff, but like it just seemed like he was kind of shake, like just didn't felt like he was feeling his arm a little bit. The body language didn't look great, and what he threw 18 pitches, 10 balls, 8 strikes. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's. I mean, he threw 101, so like velocity wise, it looks good, but it just doesn't seem right. Like they might just put their best foot forward, and if they think he's one of those guys for them, sure. I don't even think they need to use him. But yeah, he was the only guy out of that pen that I just didn't think looked particularly sharp. But other than that, I think everyone looked well, like looked really good. Brent Honeywell, 11 days rest. Should they just give him the start? Toss it over to Ben Casparius?
I think so. Why not?
What I
We're for
want.
sure going to see Kasparius and Trinan tomorrow. We know that. I think we're for sure going to see Vesia tomorrow. We're for sure going to see Bonda tomorrow.
If they're losing, if the Yankees get a lead, we'll see Brent Honeywell.
I think so. And
But
I think they're totally fine punting. And frankly, not because Honeywell's going to allow two, but Dave Roberts essentially used Honeywell to save pitching for a game
yes,
that they can win. If you see Brent Honeywell tomorrow, you should be doing backflips in your seat
yeah, that
because
means I'm
you're going to
seeing
get
game
that two
five.
for one special. Yeah.
But let Honeywell close it out. I want to see him get the last out. Like the amount
Awesome.
of times as a kid, the other years I've seen that Josh Beckett fielding, the little dribbler back to him and tagging Jorge Posada. That was a shutout, by the way, at Yankee Stadium, to win the World
Wasn't
Series.
that the last time the Yankees were shut out at Yankee
Yes,
in the World
yes,
Series? Yeah,
yes.
Beckett.
And the amount of times I've seen that, like I would love to see that with like Brent Honeywell
Hmm.
tagging him out and just dog pile out there on the mound. But
You know what
I don't
I
think they're
want to
going to give him
see?
that opportunity. The serious note, the bullpen, like for a bullpen game, they're in a very good spot.
Yeah,
Everyone's available, and then Trinan's available for plenty of pitches. Like they are in a very very good spot for a bullpen game, because of the way that this game worked out too.
yeah. I will say would be perfectly poetic for Daniel Hudson to get the final out of the World Series because he was the one that got the final out for the Nats in 2019. That'd be kind of cool to see a guy get the final out of the World Series. Like 5 years removed, Hudson had he was like the main feature in the arm, which Jeff Passan wrote when he was at Yahoo. I think blew out as he was building back up, ruptured his repaired UCL. So he would be like the fact that he does that after that arduous of a road. If he got the final out of 2 World Series 5 years apart after that, that would be one of the all-time stories in baseball for relief pitchers. I think
Yeah, he also had bad knees.
Hudson.
Looking, I'm looking at that too. He had bad knees, a pair of bulky knees in 2022 and 2023,
What does
the
that
LA
mean?
time. Uh, They're not. That doesn't sound good. Usually, balk means that it's a free base. So I imagine it doesn't mean his knees are holding up too good.
Yeah,
So I mean, he's overcome a lot. So you got the arm situation, and then he had sprained MCL and some other knee issues over the years too. So he also had an ACL tear.
hmm,
Jeez, yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. He tore his ACL with the Dodgers.
that's right. Yeah,
And yeah, I don't remember what the year was, but I'm looking at a picture of him on the floor, by the mound, and it like brought me
was it
back.
22? Was that a 20?
22, yeah, June
22.
22. Yeah, this guy's had a road, man. That would be cool. Um,
So
but yeah,
the $1 million question: how many hours of sleep is Aaron Boone getting tonight, knowing that Luis Gil gets the ball in Game 4?
you think he's just kind of accepted his fate. Well, you can't get swept like that optically isn't great. So I'd imagine not much. And he's probably thinking about just all the different plans and approaches here because on the Yankee side, the good news is nobody threw a ton of pitches, right? Nobody threw more than 17 pitches out of the Yankees pen. Weirdly, three guys threw exactly 17 pitches. Um, But Weaver only threw 6 pitches, Canley only threw 11, Holmes only threw 12. It's going to be all hands on deck again. Obviously, you're trying to live to see another day. So, I mean, I think they're just hoping to get four. If you get five, that'd be great from from Heel, and then from there, I mean, every single reliever is going to be available. They're going to go to whoever they can. So, um,
You
yeah,
know
I
who,
think I think you feel all right about it because again, it's all hands on deck.
speaking of that, I also think Cole is available tonight.
Is there a point to doing that?
Not getting eliminated.
Sure, but like I don't know. I'm sure he is available, and like, but now you just legitimately, effectively give yourself like no chance in the next ball game.
Yeah, I mean, you would just shorten the rest for Rodon.
Ugh. Like, I think you just try to find a way to win this game tonight without Cole, and then you have Cole the next ball game, which at that point you can actually push to a game 6.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty low odds that you do see Garrett Cole in this game, but I do think if the situation arises where heel goes very short and you exhaust a ton of the leverage
And
guys,
it's
like you
just a
exhaust a Canley,
slugfest.
you exhaust a Holmes, yeah, and you want to save Weaver for the end. I think you could see Cole out of the bullpen. You move Rodon a day up, then you go Schmidt game 6, and Cole would be in line to start game 7. Like it is. I can do the math mentally, and it makes enough sense to me to the point where he should be available tomorrow, especially when your back is against the wall and you're down 3-0 and it is an elimination game. I think fear of being eliminated should make Garrett Cole available.
Fair.
Um, I just I would prefer not to see it. I would prefer not to use him if I was Aaron Boone, and I would prefer to save him for a start in game 5. But I do think that he's going to say, I'm available if you need me. And Boone is going to say, in the fifth inning, fourth inning, go sit in the bullpen. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah, if it was if it was 3-1 in that situation, I'd be a little bit more like, yeah, you live to see another day. At 3-0, I'm like, if we somehow win this one, I want to give ourselves a chance in the next one too. But I could see it going any which way with that, and generally the live to see another day prevails. I do want to pull a yard card for this game,
Okay.
and normally this would be such a chalk yard card. I think Aaron Judge finally gets one. I think that's just going to be the like pain in the ass cherry on top of everything. Where Yankees fans are going to finally see him go deep once, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh.
That would
And
be
I genuinely believe it. Like I thought the swings were a little better today. That there was one hanger that he definitely, usually hits out, caught it off the end a little bit. The last AB was actually a good walk, spit on some, I think pretty good spin. I think he gets one next game. That's all I got.
I want to counter with Verdugo again so badly because like there's so many opportunities for comedic poetry here. Like Judge going yard in game 4 when they get swept would be hilarious, and Verdugo pimping another when they're down would be hilarious. There are just a lot of opportunities for
Oh,
baseball comedy, I feel like tonight.
If Verdugo pimps another one, I'm going to ask our video extraordinaire Peyton Genius to make a Verdugo edit. Although that is mean, he's a Yankees fan. I'll give him some time
He
on
would
that.
do it. He would do it because the Yankee fan base is cynical enough to lean into it and be like, yeah,
It's a Verdugo World Series edit. He went crazy. Just the two pimps, just all the different angles. Like, I mean, that one's gonna like just really echo in my mind. It, there's something about people having no feel in certain spots like that where I gets me going. I love like it's just so funny to me. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know if I have much else to take away from this thing other than I hope the Yankees can extend it one more. Freddie Freeman is just a different person and player than anybody else we're used to seeing. Like he's just going to hit till he's 85 years old. And this is a perfect reminder. We've always talked about how Freddie Freeman's going to hit for his entire life, by the way. We always said that like he's aging like fine wine, whereas like every year he seems to get better.
yeah.
We're seeing a like beat up Freddie Freeman essentially. And this is probably what he's going to feel like every day when he's like 45. And he still rakes. So this only furthers the notion for me that Freddie Freeman will hit as long as he wants to hit. And then once he's tired of it, he'll just stop hitting. Cause like he's doing it on a bum ankle. Like it's just too easy for him. So that's all. That's the only other thing I got. I mean, what Walker did was absolutely awesome, and hopefully the Yankees can take advantage of a bullpen game, and maybe Luis Heel feels a little free and easy. And I mean, the Yankees should really play with. I know they have everything to lose, but they should really play with nothing to lose at this point. Like
Yeah,
today's game, I would be very nervous because like, oh, we can't go down 3-0. It's over. Now you play like you almost think
it
it's
feels pretty
over.
over. Bob
Yeah,
Nightingale
it's
already
over.
tweeted that it was over.
Yeah, which makes it effectively not over. So I don't know, but yeah, I think that the like that's why I think Judge homers, and that's why I think the Yankees actually finally turn in a pretty good game.
Do you think any of the Yankees are going to go on a little morning walk in Central Park on Tuesday?
No, I don't. I don't think
Maybe run
so.
into a bear cub next to a bicycle. I have no idea. We'll
I don't
see.
think so. Yeah, do you think Rizzo gives them another speech or something? I heard he gave him a speech before this game too.
He gave him a speech before game three. He heard
Yeah,
Jason Hayward do it in 2016 and was like, I can't wait for my
I
moment.
I can do this. Hey,
You
we
can,
came back from 3-1 in 16. We can do this. 3-0. I don't know if there's a speech for that one. I know. Hey, they got another documentary if you want to watch that. And right, I
hmm
know it wasn't the World Series, but we got another Red Sox 3-0. We talked about another Red Sox 3-0 documentary, so maybe the Yankees can crush that tonight.
I'd
Oh
be
wait, Boone
waking
already
up.
tried that. I forgot about that. Didn't Boone show that to the team?
Yeah, Boone showed it to the team. What? He showed it in like June or
But that
something,
was the other
May.
documentary. Maybe Boone wants to show them this new one.
That'd be good. I'd be waking up extra early to have more time to be a hater. I feel like that's the Aram line right here. So yeah, second day in a row that the new documentary came up. And guess what? Neither of us are going to watch it. Every link you need is in the episode description. Get your merchandise. I've got it sitting in the background, the rope hat back in store. Also, the team specific stuff. If you do want to celebrate with a Yankee theme, just baseball shirt, we have that available. We also have a Diamondbacks theme and a Rockies theme and like the 27 other organizations. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow, regardless of outcome tonight. Peter makes his return. Peter was at game three. I would say I feel bad, but he went to the World Series.
He went to the World Series, but it is awesome that he watched that and then now he's on a 1 hour train ride back home, packed in with a bunch of depressed Yankees fans.
Getting back at 1 a.m., you
Oh,
wrote
I
to his
love you,
girlfriend,
Pete.
how
I'm
was the
sorry.
game, honey?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Like
It was terrible, but look at this scarf that I got for free.
this Capital One scar.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I
We'll
can't wait to
talk
hear
to you
from
guys
Pete.
tomorrow.